All right, so as we're continuing in the books of the Bible today, we're going to be talking about First Samuel. The author of First Samuel is not stated. Some believe that Samuel actually had a part in writing it, but there's also some things within First Samuel that are history beyond when Samuel passes away. So it's obviously not going to be him writing that. So the date is going to be somewhere around 1100 BC to 1000 BC, somewhere in that time period. But First Samuel, some of the details about it, or let me give you the key theme about it, is that Israel's 12 tribes unite under a king. So let's see how we get there through the details. So it starts out with Hannah praying for a son, begging God for a son in the temple, and then saying that she will give back this son to be used by God. And so God does give her a son, and she does give him back after he's been weaned to the prophet Eli. And so Samuel is raised by Eli within the temple and how to do the job of a prophet and priest. And so Samuel takes over, and then he becomes the one who is the judge or the deliverer for Israel and goes up against the Philistines and kind of defeats the Philistines with the Israelites. But then he has two wicked sons who decide to do sinful things. And so the Israelites reject the two sons' lineage because Samuel's getting ready to die. And they reject the lineage of Samuel because they're watching the two sons do sinful things. And so they demand a king. Well, Samuel tries to warn and say, no, you don't want a king. He's going to tax you. He's going to do all these different things. You do not want that. But they insist. And so God says, yep, they can have it. If they really want it, they can have it. And he draws him to King Saul. Now, King Saul was very tall. He was very handsome. The Bible talks about that. But King Saul started well, but he starts to make some bad choices. And so because he offers a sacrifice to God, which was reserved for priests, God says he's going to be replaced. Well, he's replaced by the shepherd David, King David. And David defeats Goliath. He does some great and mighty things. Well, then Saul gets jealous and tries to kill David. And so David flees for his life. And even when he's given the opportunity to kill Saul, says, I would not stretch forth mine hand against the Lord's anointed. So he's not going to do that. But at the end of 1 Samuel, Saul dies battling the Philistines, which makes way for David to become the king. There are a couple of quotable verses. Chapter 8 and verse 7 says, the Lord said unto Samuel, they have not rejected thee, but they have rejected me, that I should not reign over them. Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken the fat of rams. Chapter 15, verse 22. Chapter 17, verse 45, David says to Philistine, thou comest to me with a sword and with a spear and with a shield, but I come to thee in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom thou hast defied. Some unique and unusual things about this. Saul was actually a donkey herder and tried to hide from his own coronation. But then also later on in life, he asks a medium to call upon the spirit of the dead Samuel to give him advice. So just some unusual things going on in the book of Samuel. So what's the point of it? Selfish choices such as the Israelites' desire for a king and then Saul's desire to sacrifice that ram can lead to heavy and even tragic consequences in our lives. We shouldn't do things on our own. We should always trust and follow the process that God has for us. The teen of the day today is Brooke Ridenauer. Pray for her as she has a cardiologist appointment here coming up soon, trying to figure out what's going on with her and some medical issues she's having. So pray for her. Have a good day.